So in the Dragon Ball Super superhero arc of the manga, Vegeta continues his efficiency training that was also in the superhero movie, and he has somehow managed to slightly and only just surpass Goku base to base. Vegeta improved his movements as acknowledged by Beerus. Now, in Toriyama's words from the superhero movie, this is an ability and a skill that he has took inspiration from Jiren from and tried to apply it to his own overall martial arts ability. But whilst Whis often gets credited with foreshadowing and training Goku in the art of Ultra Instinct, way back in Resurrection of F, little do people know that Whis also foreshadowed the efficiency training Vegeta would be going under, and that eureka moment that Vegeta would need to overcome to potentially surpass his own wall. But here's the kicker: given that we know that Vegeta's current objective and super objective is to take out Frieza before he continues getting stronger, as we saw at the beginning of the superhero arc, it literally started with Vegeta talking about the threat of Black Frieza. The efficiency training that Vegeta would eventually undertake was actually foreshadowed way back in the very arc where Frieza initially returned, Resurrection of F. Now, we don't actually have a full, true Resurrection of F manga adaptation like we did get with Superhero, and I know a lot of people might be thankful for that now, but there is the Foreshadowed no F manga that came out with the original Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F movie. But this was written and drawn up by Toyotaro himself, who would eventually become the main artist and storyteller of the Dragon Ball Super Manga, even though he's heavily assisted by Toriyama. The Foreshadowed no F manga does stay very true to the movie event of the Resurrection of F movie, but obviously we do know that the anime adaptation did differ quite a bit. Not necessarily so much in how Goku and Frieza and Vegeta line up amongst each other in terms of power, but the lead up into it. Gohan gets a better depiction, Gotenks isn't in it. The power scaling in particular is a lot more stable than what it is in the anime adaptation, which is all over the place. And this particular manga adaptation, whilst I understand that some people are protective over continuities being used to substantiate other continuities, this particular Foreshadowed no F manga doesn't really contradict anything that happened in the Dragon Ball Super series when it refers to Resurrection F via flashbacks and cutbacks. So I think it does have solid ground. So this is what Whis states to Vegeta after talking to Goku about mastery of self-movement. Whis states, "It's quite evident to me that you are a prodigy in combat, yet you always seem to be lagging one step behind Goku. Do you have any idea why that is? You are constantly straining your senses, which means your nerves are fully stressed all the time. In that state, when it comes down to business, you won't be able to fully function at full efficiency when it's time to relax. It's very important that you do rest up and take a break." Now guys, these statements were from Resurrection of F. So this new direction that Superhero is taking has actually been embedded in the lore of Dragon Ball for quite a while now. Now since Resurrection of F, we've had the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, the Future Trunks arc, the Tournament's Power, the Broly arc, the Moro arc, the Granola arc, and then comes the Superhero arc. And obviously efficiency and the efficiency and application of using your power to its maximum output becomes a big thing in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So obviously there are two adaptations. One is the Dragon Ball Super Superhero movie, which is penned by Toriyama, and the other is the manga arc, and they do ultimately say the same thing, but they're done in different ways. So we'll go for both, as one is literally penned by Toriyama and gives you the thoughts of the actual author. This in terms of Vegeta recognizing that efficiency was the means to take in order to compete against the likes of Frieza. He stated, "Jiren was so overwhelmingly strong, and yet his power really wasn't so different from our own. But he used his power with total efficiency. Didn't you notice?" To this, their mentor Whis replies, "Truly outstanding, Vegeta-san. I'm impressed that you've realised that." Whis is recognising that Vegeta has finally picked up on his words and had his eureka moment. Vegeta makes a reflection compared to multiple opponents that they've had in the past, even though it arguably makes no sense in comparison to the likes of Broly and Moro. Vegeta states this, "Our physical bodies have long since honed to their limits. In that respect, our training is already on par with those opponents. The key difference lies in how we wield our power. There's still too much excess, too much wasted energy when we fight. To command 100% of our power, we must force our bodies and spirits to relax outside of the moments we attack. Attacking in a relaxed state keeps the enemy from reading one's moves Doing so allows for instantaneous movements, explosive power, and will also preserve stamina. To which Whis replies, "Fabulous, Vegeta, I must say, to reach such a conclusion on your own." The irony given we know that Whis has literally told him about this way back in Resurrection of F. So whilst Jiren is being used as the benchmark in terms of that skill there, and yes, is being used as the benchmark in terms of that skill, not in terms of his overall raw power, Jiren demonstrated to Vegeta in the Tournament of Power and was used as the benchmark for Vegeta to attain a new level of ability in terms of his efficiency so he can use 100% of his total power. It was Whis that basically incepted into Vegeta's mind way back in Resurrection of F the notion that he needs to learn to relax when not in moments of attack. So obviously what we do know is that Vegeta has taken the God of Destruction Hakai route in terms of trying to match Ultra Instinct and surpass Ultra Instinct. That's why he trained with Beerus on Beerus' planet before the events on Planet Cereal took place. It eventually led to his transformation of Ultra Ego. Now, maybe Ultra Ego is something that also doesn't truly suit Vegeta. Whilst he is capable of it, he did state after failing to defeat Granola that he couldn't revert to the callous man he once was, and that's why he couldn't reach the likes of Beerus' power. So rather than become like Beerus, as with Goku, rather than Goku trying to become exactly like Whis, and Whis even encouraged him to do this, was to find his own Ultra Instinct, in which eventually Goku arrived at true Ultra Instinct, which is basically Ultra Instinct Saiyan with emotions. Vegeta may have to take a similar route if he cannot truly revert to that callous man he once was. Now, whilst you might find it easier to do against somebody like Frieza, he has developed a lot over the years, especially since the Saiyan saga, and even from the events in the Buu saga. He isn't that man anymore, so he probably will only be able to go so far with it. So what he's probably trying to do is add a lot of different skills that will eventually make the whole a lot stronger. So if he can get Jiren's, what I would often call ultra efficiency, and be able to use his destruction power at 100% efficiency, then he is going to become a much more complete fighter and more likely to be able to compete with Frieza, as he literally got one-shotted at the end of the Granola saga. Now, the reason Vegeta is so concerned about Frieza's revival after the Tournament of Power and Goku isn't, is because Vegeta truly knows the horrifying things that Frieza will do. Even though Goku may be aware of it, Vegeta truly understands it as he lived with it. He was part of the Frieza Force. He knew about the destruction of planet Vegeta at the hands of Frieza. I made a theory video the other day concerning how Frieza's probably got a plan to recruit personnel to take out all the gods of destruction so he can achieve his ultimate goal of supplanting the Omni King. Vegeta probably has an inkling at what Frieza's overall goals are and knows that he will basically stop at nothing to achieve them, and that will literally cost billions of lives in the process. Vegeta likely understands that, whereas Goku doesn't seem to grasp that concept. Vegeta more than anybody will want to take out Frieza because of these reasons, and that is why he's going off at Goku in the Broly movie event, and why it depicted Vegeta being on edge at the beginning of chapter 88 when thinking about the power gap between them and Black Frieza. It's also worth considering that Vegeta had only just learned Ultra Ego in the Granola arc. He hasn't really had any true training with the form and is unlikely to be particularly efficient with it. But now he's been training on Beerus' planet with Goku and potentially even Broly, then he may have actually increased his efficiency with the form, and if he's taken the Jiren route in terms of getting to max efficiency, he possibly will combine these two godly level attributes, as Jiren was in the realm of the gods by using this type of attribute. He could use destruction and ultra efficiency, I guess you could call it, to take on Black Frieza. Maybe Frieza himself also recognized this when fighting against Jiren and learned it in the time that he spent in another dimension training for 10 years. And let's face it, it's likely Beerus has all of these abilities to some degree. So obviously Resurrection of F left a bad taste in people's mouths that Vegeta didn't get a clean win over Frieza in Resurrection of F. Obviously, Frieza has basically become the main bad guy. Whether he'll be the main villain of the next arc remains to be seen. He might just be pottering around on the side, but ultimately they will have to deal with Frieza, and I think it will be Vegeta that finally deals with Frieza, and the training that he's doing now will likely be consequential in how he defeats Frieza, and I believe it could be a combination of the two godly-like abilities. That's how Whis foreshadowed Vegeta's destruction of Frieza way back in the Resurrection of F arc. Is that Oda level foreshadowing? Let me know down in the comments section. Smash a like on the video, subscribe for more Dragon Ball videos. 2024 is going to be a big year for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, you name it. Until next time, Ad Astra.